Today we're out here in Crystal River with my friend, guide Captain Sean Walker from Salt River Outfitters. This guy gets you on the fish every time. We've been fishing with him. My boys and I have been fishing with him for a long time, you know, and I called up Captain Sean, I'd say probably about a month and a half ago, and I said, hey, we got this idea of taking some veterans out for some recreational therapy, go out fishing. And before I could get any more information out about the concept, he was all on board with it. So today we're out here fishing. I say what, we're a couple of miles out, out of Crystal River, and fixing to lay in some trout. And we're here today with David Booth, who is the president and the founder of Combat Veterans to Careers. It's a nonprofit organization right here in Central Florida in the Villages. And we're going to learn a little bit about his service to our country and what he is doing to provide much needed services to our veterans who are coming home post 9/11. This is awesome out here. I tell you what, Captain, we certainly are appreciative of you offering to bring us out here today for our first segment on Real Heroes. And today we have David Booth, like I said, president and founder of Combat Veterans to Careers. And he's in the back of the boat. Is that the aft or the port? Okay, he's in the aft. And I hope he stays on the boat and stays in the boat. David, thanks for coming out here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Well, and first of all, on behalf of Florida's Big Fish Show, thank you very much for your service to our country.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about, you know, you're in the Army.
Yep.
And tell us about your experiences in the Army.
So I did 20 years in the Army. I was 17 when I joined.
You were 17?
I was 17, yep. I had a scholarship to go to school for track, but I wasn't ready to go. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I went to the Army recruiter and said I wanted to be military police.
MP.
And they said, well, we don't have that available right now. So at 17, in my infinite wisdom, I said, all right, I just want to jump out of airplanes. And they said, well, we have airborne ranger medic. And I said, sign me up.
That's
said,
you.
Do you want 2 years or 4 years? I said, give me 4 years. So next thing I know, I'm headed to basic training, and then the airborne school, then medical training, and then ranger school, and then I was stationed in Fort Benning, Georgia,
right,
the 3rd Ranger Regiment for a couple years, and then I got sent to Fort Bragg, and spent almost 10 years in the 82nd Airborne Division, jumping out of planes.
How many jumps have you made?
I had 277 jumps.
Wow.
I was a medic, and then I was a surgical first assist, and then they sent me to counter intel school to become a counterintelligence agent. And I did that, and then I got sent to Iraq for 18 months.
And when was that, when you went to Iraq?
In 2005. And in Iraq, about 2 weeks before I was coming home, my vehicle hit a roadside bomb and changed everything after that. Yeah. I broke my neck in 3 places. I got sent to San Diego. Not a bad place to get sent to, though. A lot of fishing in San Diego. Where I went through about 5 surgical. Oh, come on. Oh, I'm off. Not all the way on.
You know, I just pictured that trout on my sandwich, and it's gone now.
Right. That was a good one too. I don't think it was. What is it? 15 inches.
15 inches.
Yeah. But I spent 3 years in San Diego. I was a patient, but I was also put in charge of about 180 other wounded guys and girls, wounded soldiers. So then I spent 3 years through rehab, but also was platoon sergeant and helping those veterans transition, or those soldiers transition, whether it's in the back into the military or transition out of the military.
Right. You know, when your Humvee hit that roadside bomb, you know, you mentioned that it just sort of, that's when everything changed. You know, your life changed. What happened?
So we were coming back from a mission, and you know, it's not always like the movies.
Right.
I was in the back of the vehicle. It's 125 degrees. You're in a tin can. You know, we're coming back from a mission and we get ambushed. And so I'm in the back of the vehicle. There's not much for us to do. So we're on about a 6-hour drive. And so I'm in the back sleeping. Next thing I know, our 50 caliber machine gun was going off. Bullets started pinging on my window.
Right.
And then next thing I know, the vehicle's all up in the air and flipped over, and I woke up and I was on the litter getting medevaced out.
How many of you guys were in that?
There were 5 of us. And 2, my gunner was killed and my driver was killed. And then I broke my neck in 3 places, and my radio guy next to me didn't have a scratch on him, but and that's some of the things that, hope you didn't get that one. That's some of the things that, you don't hear about, is some of the invisible wounds. You know, he didn't have a scratch on him, but he has a lot of things that he's dealing with.
Right.
Post-traumatic stress. And
so you ended up in San Diego after that.
yeah, so what they try to do is I had a spinal cord injury, so that's where they specialize in spinal cord injuries for one, but I was stationed in Phoenix, so they try to get you as close to home as you can.
Gotcha.
And that's where I got, I mean, I was Army, and they got sent to a Navy base, but
They treat you okay?
they did, but I don't let the Navy know that, They did a good job. I'm walking today because of the medicine, Navy medicine, so
There you go.
we got great care.
What's with the combat veterans to careers, I was reading a little bit about certainly your story and how that came to, this combat veterans to careers came about, but what's some of the challenges? It's all for folks that are, what is it, after 9/11, for military, it's after 9/11. Tell us a little bit about, I guess, the combat veterans to careers concept and how that came all about and what services you provide now.
So our organization, what we do is we help veterans and their whole families. We provide 360 degrees of support. And what does that mean? So a lot of our veterans, when they come back, they're hurting for money, they're struggling for, to find some sense of community and find a job, a purpose in life after their military. A lot of them are transitioning back into their own families. They're trying to figure out how to, when they're gone, their role had changed, so somebody had to step up, whether it be their kids or their spouse.
Gotcha.
So a lot of them, when they come to us, they're like, I just need a job, I need a job. And sometimes that's the last thing they really need. They might need to get additional education. They might need some medical assistance from the VA, mental health assistance, or they might just need some time to really figure out what their next step is. But they're so anxious to get the money and the financial support and get back into some sort of a normal lifestyle that it's kind of chaotic. And that's what we do. We sit down with them, we put them on a path. So the end result is ultimately in a career, but we get them the education, whether it be a license, a certification, a degree, whatever training they need. And then we do budget counseling, we do life coaching, we do therapeutic recreation. We do a number of different things, but it's the whole family, not just the veteran. So when I started it, I did a bunch of fishing trips. And when I first, so I was not a very nice person after I got blown up, and my commander came to me and said, hey, I need you to go to New York for a Veterans Day event. And I'm in San Diego. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to New York. You're crazy. And he's like, no, I need you to go. I need you to. I'm like, sir, this is not happening. I'm not. He's like, look, I need you to go because your soldiers need a break from you, not because you need a break from them. And then,
it's not all about you. Huh?
Right. And I realized that when I went, and I had a great time, and I met a lot of great people, and people genuinely want to help. And this is when I was still trying to figure out what I'm transitioning into. So when I got back, one of the things I made my soldiers do is create a business card, made sure they had to go on some of these events because it's therapy. It really does help. So then we did golf tournaments and some fishing events and hunting events and trips, and those really do help. When you hear about 22 suicides a day,
right?
That's a big issue. But what you don't hear about is the 53 that tried but didn't end up killing themselves. That's a bigger issue. So let's work on those and try to get some of those people in a better place, so that we can reduce that number. And that's what we try to do. So we case manage and we help them through that whole process.
Take me through like the mechanics of leaving the military and re-entering, civilian life. What's that process?
Leaving the military and entering civilian life? So they have a transition assistance program, and it's about 2 weeks long, and you go through some classes and briefings, but they check you off, and then they say, all right, thanks for your service, and I was on. Thanks for your service, and then the next step is
you're off on your own.
You're off on your own.
So you come back home.
If you think about it, you're part of a big military community, and then you get out and you're not part of it. It's just you and your family, and there's a lot of struggles.
Is it a sense of, like isolation, that you're outside of your element, and then you're being introduced into a new arena that you're not terribly familiar with, or what's the mindset? There's a lot more structure in the military, and when you get out, you're pretty much on your own. And if you think about it this way, so when you enter the military teaches you how to talk. We have a whole vocabulary of acronyms. Right.
They teach you how to walk. They tell you how to march. They tell you what to wear. They tell you how to wear your haircut. They tell you pretty much everything. Where to be.
Make sure that doesn't make it to the tape. Right.
So when you get out, you're speaking a different language. You're walking as a set way that everybody else is walking their own. So it's just some of those struggles and just adapting to that change and that different lifestyle. I got out and I took a job in Manhattan. I had severe, and remember I was fought going to New York, but I took a job for an international security company in Manhattan for director of operations. Not the brightest thing to do when you have post-traumatic stress, move to the largest city one of the largest cities in the world. And then the other ironic thing is I work for an explosive detection company. Remember I got blown up, so
you're right. You're going back into it.
Well, I might not be the guy that wants to find the bombs. But that transition is difficult because you're still trying to figure out, your new normal.
If I was a business owner, how do I get involved with Combat Veterans to Careers?
You just contact us, and we get a lot of businesses that are looking to hire veterans, and so we start pairing them You know, we find out what their needs are. We look at what the veterans' needs are, and we pair them up. And
I got you.
we have some great businesses that have supported. City Fire in the Villages is a big one. M&S Air Conditioning in Lady Lake, they're a big, in Fruitland Park area, they're a big one. They hire a number of our veterans. And that's a great skill, you know. Instead of just going after a degree, that's a trade.
That's right.
There's great money in that. And
so do you have some kind of articulation agreement or something that goes, you know, where they can go to like HVAC training or welding or whatever?
Actually, we partner with Lake Tech.
Okay.
Yep, which is a great school. We send guys to the fire academy, the police academy, HVAC academy. Well, getting some bites.
I mean, yeah, they have a career in less than a year.
Right, right. We have 2 guys in the, there you go.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah,
There
that's
you go.
beautiful. Cut that part out.
Yeah.
All right, the first one goes to you.
Keeper?
Yes.
All right. We got some lunch.
You don't have to measure it.
Yeah, I like that too.
Nice.
And that's the other thing too, is about, you know, when I talk about community, I mean, now they're working in the community. You know, M&S Air Conditioning, they're providing service to, quality service to,
Right.
you know, families, people that live in, the people that donate to us. So it's important.
You have a golf tournament?
We do. We have a battle. It's called a Battle Buddy Golf Tournament. It's in September 7th and 8th this year, which is pretty awesome. And that's the whole. It's a fundraising event, but the whole premise behind it is creating new battle buddies. So one thing you always hear, no, I don't care what branch of service, I don't care. You know, the one thing that every veteran says that they miss the most about the military is the camaraderie. And that's how we're trying to bring that back. So we create new battle buddies. So we have a four-man team that, you know, pays to play, and then we pair them with one of our veterans, and now they're creating new relationships and creating new battle buddies. And it's actually helped. It's just our 4th year doing it. It's worked out great because the next year they come, it becomes like a reunion. But
Gotcha.
you have to play with another team now. You're creating new
Okay,
battle
so they don't
buddies.
get paired up with the same
Right,
battle buddies
but
year
they
after
still
year.
see them there.
Sure.
So. Then we have a skydiver jumping in with a 2,000 square foot American flag. It's just a lot of fun.
Now, where's your golf tournament held at?
It's at Bonifay Country Club in the Villages.
Okay.
Yep. Then I've played in a number of tournaments and events and all that, and you know, especially golf. You know, when you get up there in the morning, you deal with different personalities, and it takes a couple holes to really figure out what kind of personality some of these people have. So that's why the night before we do a pairings party, so we get all that stuff out of the way, and then they get out there the next day and play some golf. So
I got you. Well, that sounds like a great idea.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. So
Is there sponsorships available for
yeah,
that as well?
definitely. Yeah, we're always looking for sponsors. We're always looking for players and volunteers. Yep.
How many teams did you have out? Let's like last year.
So we have 54 teams. And it sells out pretty quick. So 270 players, if you think about it.
Right.
So it's pretty fun. We have 2 M4s that shoot golf balls out there, and you can use that on one of the holes as your longest drive. It's pretty fun.
You know, Dave, we were talking earlier about veterans and maybe taking them out, going fishing, playing golf. I mean, you see that as sort of a kind of recreational therapy.
It is. It's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
What is it about? I mean, I could tell you right now that coming out here and going fishing with Captain Sean is just absolutely wonderful. Being out here on the flats, having some good company, soon to have some good food, if I catch anything. But in terms of recreational therapy for a veteran, what do they get out of doing something like
Well,
this?
it's the same, but it's, you know, it's a break. And even for me, I mean, combat veterans to careers, this is what I do every day: case manage and help and try to help veterans. And but that's my therapy. But this is kind of a break from the norm and just kind of a reset button, you know.
Right.
The other big part of being out here is I just wanted to get on Captain Sean's Facebook page. That's the goal.
He's got a lot of followers, so
I
Captain
know.
Sean, I tell you what, he gets you on the fish, that's for sure.
But the therapeutic side, I mean, whether it's fishing or hunting, I mean, it's that camaraderie, that, you know, building, you know, relationships, you know, banter. It just kind of breaks that norm and gets you out there. And
Yeah, and we were talking earlier, you know, another great thing about being out here is there's no cell phone service.
yeah, that's exactly it.
It's all VHF radio.
Right.
If you need something.
When I first started fishing and playing golf and doing some of these events when I was in San Diego, I was in a dark place, and it got me say, hey, you know what? It's not all bad. But the other thing too is that, you know, you're building a relationship that's off of it. It's after fishing, you still have that camaraderie and that bond, and, you know, and you look forward to the next trip and the next time. And then even telling other people about it and saying, hey, look, I had this great time, it really helped, and it might help you, you know. It's important. There's an organization, it's called 4-Star Alliance, and I'm a member of that alliance, and we're one of the founding members. And what it is it takes these therapeutic recreation organizations, over 100 of these organizations across the country, and links them together and says, hey, this is, you know, it could be equine therapy, could be hunting or fishing, or, you know, canine therapy. I mean, it could anything and everything, skiing. Brings them all together and gets them connected and working together collectively to help our veterans.
Hey, well, we just wrapped up a great morning of fishing. Well, you had a great morning of fishing, a couple trout and a pompano. I didn't catch anything that was of great size, but that's all right because we had a great time, and it was a wonderful opportunity to get to know you a little bit better, and for us to learn a little bit more about Combat Veterans to Careers and the wonderful organization that you've really put together. You've done a great job.
Thank you.
All right, no, thank you, because you've done a great job for our country and for our men and women here that are coming home. Well, right now, we're fixing to have a great shore lunch hosted by none other, the most world-famous guide out here on the west coast of Florida, and that is Sean Walker of Salt River Outfitters. And today he's going to be cutting up the trout that you caught with some homemade hush puppies, coleslaw, and maybe some sweet tea. So here we go.